Take three. And hello, my name is Emily, and I love to knit. This is going to be my very first video. I'm recording this like the fourth time now. At least trying. Yeah. But welcome to my channel. We are going to talk about knitting here. And I love watching all of the other YouTubers out there that do knitting stuff, and they talk about what they're making. And I wanted to share on what I've been working on. I started knitting probably 15 years ago. My grandma was the one that taught me how to knit. And many years down the road, I did not think I would be that eager to knit again. I think my very first thing I knitted was a hat or a scarf. I think it was a hat. I do remember knitting with cables, which I really loved. And so one of my next project things that I've done was a pair of socks. And they're not done with anything fancy, but hopefully you can kind of tell they're I kind of wanted to do something more Norwegian-y because my husband is Norwegian. These are just made out of regular acrylic yarn. Probably took me a couple of days. I was really into it and I had a lot of time in my hand. It was before I had all of my children. That sounded like I had a bunch. I have 2 children. But yeah, so they're great. The only problem is they don't have much of a stretch to them at all, and so my husband struggles putting them on his feet. So anyway, this was like 7 years ago I think I made these, until I've learned all about like fancy yarns and all my hand-dyed stuff, and I didn't know that that stuff was better, at least in my opinion. The next thing recently I did, I think, which was like last month, I have decided to knit a baby sweater for one of my relatives. And it is this, well, it's a cardigan, I guess. It's really cute. It is also made out of like acrylic yarn from like Hobby Lobby. I think I picked it out. And this is a very old pattern that I found on Etsy. I think it was Etsy. I can't say it was good because you had to attach a bunch of pieces, which was very annoying, and then you had to sew on a bunch of pieces like the sleeves and these parts. Yeah, and like the seams in here, I kind of wish it was done more like in one piece, I guess, like the main part of it, or easier, and I didn't have to do like a bunch of stitchings. As you can see, there's like stitches here. So it wasn't like a pickup stitching, it was a sewing by hand after you're done with a bunch of pieces, which was hard. I was not a fan of. I guess it wasn't hard, it was just very time consuming, which I didn't really like. But it's cute, and not my favorite. I didn't even put buttons. And it's like a very old pattern that I found in Etsy, and yeah. I guess it was more of an experiment and like practice type of thing. Then I decided to go for another baby sweater. And this was from Knitting for Olive. And I made this little cute sweater, which was adorable. Let's see. What is there to say about this? I don't even remember which pattern I used. I think it was something on Etsy as well, and it's very easy actually. It's very cute. I think it's like a very first sweater that I made that had like the shoulder seams. It was all in one, and you know, increases and the decreases. I think this was all made in round, top down. The only thing I was not a fan of are the colors. I wanted something neutral, but then I also kind of didn't realize that the blue and the brown are, at least in this case, a little too like dark, and I wanted something more of pop color, a little bit more of like baby blues. It's adorable. It's just not what I was thinking of, I guess. Oh, but and this is used out of Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, I think. You can tell here that I was messing up a little bit, but I guess nobody can tell other than you, other than self. It's soft. I think it's actually softer in my opinion than their actual merino yarn, and it's also thinner, and I like that for like summertime especially. And I don't like the way I did my color changes. You can kind of tell on in here. There, okay, you can kind of tell it in the back a little bit. And then I think I may have dropped a stitch or add an extra. There's like a little tiny hole in there, but that's okay. Anyway, there's that. And that was cute. It didn't make it to any babies, but wasn't my favorite. And then I made another one that was out of Arcane's yarn. It's like a blue colorway. And that one is really pretty. I'll put a picture. Different kind of colors, and it's really pretty. It's mostly blues, and so I really like the way that turned out. The sweater turned out when I made it, so this is all I had left, which is actually quite a bit, surprisingly. And I think this is a full-size ball, so you can tell I did not make whole sleeves on that sweater. I also did them like a quarter, like this one here. And a reason for that is because it's so hard for babies to put their little arms in. And so I thought if I make them shorter, then it'd be easier to put them on. The next thing I did, well, finished I guess, was out of Knitting for Olive again, and this time it was out of merino, their regular merino yarn. And I've decided to make a shirt, and I picked out like a darker blue yarn, but after I knitted it, I realized I also don't really like the colors. Anyway, so it's this shirt, sleeveless top, and I think this was also, want to say free, but I might be wrong. I think this was, I will link down below the pattern as well. I did, however, do things differently. You can kind of see it here at the front, like it's pretty, but I had to like gather a bunch of stitches in here by the neckline and chest line. And so the one that was in the pattern was more of a V-neck down, I think, lower, which I didn't want that. And so I kind of did my own thing with gathering parts in here, which you can kind of tell. It's just a very summery, like, tank top, I guess. The other thing I've learned in my knitting is that going back and forth and going in round, or you can kind of tell in my stitchings, because the tension was different, and my little I guess what you call them, knitting stitches, they're dancing differently. If that makes sense at all. Like if you were to look at this part at the top and it going straight down, they are more even versus like the top part where, yeah, you can kind of see on camera, I think, like there's a whole line in here. Yeah. Anyway, so I had to learn that I have to knit my stitches slightly differently versus, so like if I'm doing quickly, I do it from the back loop. If I'm doing back and forth, apparently I'm doing it from the front loop. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but I had to learn to do it kind of a slightly different way to have the same tension from back and forth to the round, which is I think what I had to do here, which is why a little portion of this is different than the other portion. The pattern was super easy, actually. Hello, go play please. Anyway, you can kind of see the whole line in there, like right across here. So if you're like, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but that's one of those things that I've learned on by knitting. So anyway, and I wanted my shirt to be loose, so I think I made like, I'll large, I want to say, especially for summertime, so I don't have to sweat and like get all sticky, if you know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, so this was okay. I want to make another one that I'm excited for, that I picked up yarn for. So, hopefully I can make that on my birthday, so that would be really nice. Anyway, then the next thing I did, I will insert here actually one sock, hopefully, that I made. And I have it on TikTok. But turned out that my husband didn't really like that sock color combination. And so I had to remake everything. And I decided to make the same pattern, I guess, by Ladies, just plain sock with one color. And that is, it was by a chick that knits, I think. They make beautiful yarn, hand-dyed yarn, and it is local to me. And so I made my husband these socks. They're very basic, very plain. I think this is a 2x2 rib. I wanted something that would be like tight on the foot, but also like stretch out to get in. I think this is Summer Lee socks, if I'm correct. Basic socks. I will link down all the patterns on the bottom. But anyway, the color I picked out is very pretty. It's this like a darker green blue. I think it's more of a red color when you look back out. It's kind of like a green blue color, I would say. I don't know, we call it teal maybe. Dark teal. So anyway, so the pattern is very easy and easy to follow and everything, easy to figure out. I have made socks before previously, like I mentioned. I made these guys, but I also made like little socks years back, I think, when I was maybe like 16. And I make them on 4 needles with 5th knitting all around. I don't know why, but I just can't seem to like get the hang of making my socks out of all around string needles with just the 2. It's just the whole thing of like pulling the cord constantly is annoying in my head. And I've tried, but it's just not functioning well. Anyway, so these socks are very easy to knit, and I love that in the yarn you can kind of see a bit of like color interchange. It's not just boring because it's hand dyed. There's some lighter parts, darker parts, very, very faint, but they're really pretty. It took me 2 weekends to make these, like one of each one weekend, because I don't actually knit a lot. I wish. But I think most of my weekends is when I knit, maybe like 2 days. And this was a quick knit. It was just, I just had to make some time for it. And so here are parts that I made messes are on the heel. There's like a different like construction, I guess, like a pattern. And I think in this sock I kind of did it okay. Like one side is better than the other. But the very first sock I made, you can tell it's very like uneven. So if you look on this side, it's all like straight and stuff, and then you look on this side, it's really not. But from far away, you can't really tell. So I have decided to just leave it because, yeah, just because I didn't think it would really matter that much. But they're great socks. They're fingering weight yarn. I can't remember the name of the color, and I don't even know if they're still making this. If they do, I will link it down below. It's a really pretty color. I originally paired it with brown and gray, and I thought that would look really nice, but my hubby doesn't like browns, which is ironic because I love browns. But he thinks that I look better in browns. Anyway, he loves blues and grays. So that's that. Make these. And then the other thing that I was really excited to make, and that was really fast, was a little gnome. This is my little Gandalf guy. If you guys have heard of The Pattern Lady by, I should have pulled these patterns out, I want to say. and be better prepared. But she has a bunch, and I'm sure many of you have, like Sarah. It's by Sarah Schara. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, because I'm the queen of mispronouncing things. Anyway, I did not block his cape, even though I was supposed to. You can see it's a little ripply. Might do that later. And you also like stuff him in the bottom with like, I just stuffed it with regular stuffing, and he's a very quick knit. He's a lot smaller than I anticipated it would be, which I don't know why I thought it would be bigger. I guess the videos that I watch always see them chunkier, but they probably use bigger yarn. I ordered mine from Etsy, just like a classic regular finger knit yarn, so I will also link that down below. It's a very nice hand-dyed yarn. It almost dropped in, and I think, I'm trying to think, this yarn was not hand-dyed. It's like a fluffy yarn that I also ordered on through Etsy company. But anyway, there he is. He's cute. He's very gray. And he's very squishy. I think the next one I'll make, like my husband really wants me to make a whole army of these apparently, which I thought was funny. He actually doesn't know that I made this, so this is a Christmas gift. But anyway, I think the next time I make one, I'd probably stuff it with something heavier so that it stays better. But yeah, anyway, this was really fun. It was really cute. What else? I guess now I can talk about new projects that I want to work on. Yes, so I wanted to make some socks for my children, and I have a daughter and a son, and they picked out, I wanted to try out Filcolana yarn, and I thought it would be really soft and amazing, but boy, I was wrong. I guess this one isn't really. I don't know if you can see the writing on it. Camera focus. Anyway, it's really pretty blue. I have a couple of these different colors. A blue, yellow, red. You can kind of see it in the bucket right there. Blue, red, yellow, and dark blue. And so for my son, I wanted to make yellow and blue of these. And for my daughter, she picked out red and dark blue. But then I rethought about it. I rethinked about it. Whatever, how you say it. And I thought I would make a plain color pair of socks for each one of them. Like blue probably, and like red or something. So this is a nice yarn for sock. It's not very thick or anything. Just like a finger weight yarn, you know. And it is virgin wool, which I guess I should have expected that wool is not like the softest. I don't know. I personally like alpaca soft yarn. I love alpaca yarn. I think it's very soft. And I could probably knit forever with it. But this is like real wool. Virgin wool is what they call it. And I want to say it's not the softest. So I'm hoping that on feet it would feel okay. Because in hands it doesn't really feel amazing. Which I feel like I should, when I ordered, I should have known that. But anyway, that's okay. So I found out, and we moved to a different location, that there are 2 yarn stores here that I really like. One I yet to visit, actually 3, sorry. One I visited a year ago, to one recently, and there's another one that I want to visit that just opened, which I'm really excited for. That'll be really cool. And so one of them I visited recently, I picked up this really cute handy bag, and I love the colors of this cute little lamb. It is by Lantern Moon and handcrafted. I mean, look at this cute little sheep. And I love the colors. It just seemed very fally for me, to me. It's a string bag, cinch-in bag, I guess is what you call it. And yeah, so that's that. It's cute. And I carry my little project here. Like, I carried the socks and the gnome stuff. In here I also use my good old Goodwill baskets. I don't have very many of these, but I have a couple and they're quite handy. Most of the time they get filled with junk, but anyway. Next. Next, I really want to make things for Christmas for my two kiddos, and they requested one of each of these animals. You all have heard of these books. By Louise Crowther. And I had to get me two because I'm obsessed. I love stuffed animals. I crochet stuffed animals. I love crocheting stuffed animals. I make them a bunch for my kids and my niece. My niece is my nephew. Don't mind me gibbering out here. Anyway, so they're both my kids. Both of them requested an animal. My daughter really wants a little tiger, which is, let's see if I can find it here. Sorry guys. I thought the horse was so cute. I want a horse for me, but I don't want to show the pattern. But isn't this adorable? Oh my goodness. Especially the little overalls. Like, that's everything. But anyway, so she wanted a, I think it's a different one. It's the wild knitted one. And my son, he originally wanted a raccoon. I love raccoons. I love watching them on TikTok live videos. I don't know what it is, but they bring me so much joy and peace, as well as birds. If you keep wondering why I keep looking through that way, it's because I have a bird feeder there, and that's fine. Anyway, so she really wants this little cutie with her own like outfit and everything in the purse. So I need to get on that to make a Christmas gift for her. And my son, he requested, what did he request? Why can't I not find the pattern to save my life? Well, he switched his thought because originally he wanted a raccoon, but then, I hope my camera's not dying, but then he changed his mind. Anyways, I got the patterns. Oh, he wanted a fox. Yes, he wants a fox. And the fox is obviously in the very front, but he wants a boy fox. And I thought I'd make him overalls, like the ones that we saw on the horse, which would be so cute. And so I picked out colors for that. And I have this giant bucket, excuse me, of my awesome colors. Let's see. The cheapest sale I could find. And this is the color. Hopefully it will focus for me. Anyway, hopefully that worked. And then those are the main colors. And then for my daughter, I wanted, I believe, she really wanted bright for her tiger. She's like, I really want bright pumpkin orange. And so I was like, okay, why not? And this is in the color 119. Dialite. I don't think dialite really matters. To do those, and I think I was going to combine it with the brown. I didn't want to do like black and orange. I thought brown would be a little bit better. This one is in color 300. That's them together. I think that'd be cute. She definitely went for bright, which is okay. And then both of them really wanted blues as their outfits, and so I can't even remember which is which, but I got 3 of these in here. You hear the doorknob, my son's trying to get in my room. They got a lot of different colors. Picked out this one, color 108, this one 103, and this one is 117. It's really soft. I think it's perfect for stuffies. It's thin too, so because the animals are actually really long. Knitted up. Excuse me, allergies. And this is Drops Design. This one is like, it's actually really not bright white. It's like a muted, I would say, cream, and this one is even darker. But on camera it looks pretty light. I'd say it's more like really pale brown cream, dark cream, I don't know. But this is not even white. Anyway, so this one on 123, and this one is where are you? 121. So anyway, I am very excited for that. I need to get started on these because I'm running out of time. Ignore this. Originally, I wanted to make this beard a beard for Gnome out of this gray color, and I was like, I think that would be too much gray, so I did not. Regardless, Alpaca Bounce is what I used, but more of a white or cream base for the beard. If you're curious, it's kind of it's thin. I have to say it was very not fun to knit with it because it has like these little like ripple loops, I guess, and the string itself is really skinny. I'm trying to make it work. I don't know, but anyway, made it work, and I had to resize my own beard for him. So yeah, there's that. Here's my little bucket of fun for children. And I also had to purchase the unicorn because it's not in the books, and she made a unicorn pattern. It was so cute. Maybe one day I'll make it. But I do have that one, it's just not in the books. And the last thing I wanted to share, which I am super excited, is I went to another local store with my hubby, and I picked out myself a birthday / Christmas present, I guess. Because I don't know about you guys, but yarn is expensive. Anyway, I've been in the hunt for really good Norwegian knitting books with like Fair Isle patterns and all the color work stuff. If you know anything, let me know. I would love to know like what books I could buy that are English translated, not actual like Norwegian Nordic. But anyway, she had in stock this one by Rowan. She had a couple. She gave me 2, I think. She didn't have very many, but she had these, and I think this is the one I picked because there's some really cute stuff in here. I'm gonna say like a couple of snippets of that. I don't know if you can tell, but anyway, there's some really cute designs. A lot of these kind of mittens on Ravelry nowadays, but even like have something to look at is really pretty too, you know. And then let's see, there was that cardigan that I really like here, which I think is beautiful. I wouldn't necessarily do those colors, but it's really pretty. Yeah, so excited for that, but I am actually going to make something different, and that is this pattern by Drops Design. And I've heard the drops is a hit or miss, but I'm gonna try to do it anyway. If you know any patterns that something looks like this, or even like a full thing of color work, let me know. But I'm making this sun wreath cardigan, which isn't really gonna be sunny wreath cardigan, but it's really cute. It's free pattern, and the lady was really sweet and helpful. She helped me to pick out the right what do you call it? the right gauge for it. The camera's about to die. Great. And yeah, she was very kind. I picked out yardages for and I was going to do this pretty brown as a base color, and this is earth yarn. I don't know how do you pronounce this to save my life. This is what she had in stock. She had a lot of different kinds. Worsted yarn and ultra fine merino. Hopefully that will zoom. Okay, there you go, focus. It's really soft, it's pretty. And I really wanted something like more brown because I have a lot of greens in my stash. But I wanted something different. So I got brown, and for the main little designs I was gonna do this yellow color and the yellow mustard as the color Ort. And I wanted to go with mohair, and so I thought if I pair the Rowan Kid Silk, if I paired the Rowan Kid Silk Haze, it's really pretty actually. If I pair these two together, they the color would settle down more. Let's see if it'll focus on me. It has like lighter strings in, which I really like because I thought that would look really cute as light texture. And I need to wind my darts because it's very loose right now. But anyways, if I pair these two together, that it would look really pretty, a little bit more muted, I think. I like that. And then as far as brown, I also wanted to add more hair texture, I guess. I was gonna pair it with this kind of a more, I think, like burgundy brown in a sense. Just those like muted red shade. Burgundy shade. And this is also Rowan Silk Mohair and Silk. I don't know if you can tell. And it has like slightly similar twine type of style and thread, I guess. Not as pronounced as the one in the lighter shade. So anyway, that would be more of like a softer brown, and then not as bright yellow. This definitely coming apart, and I better tie them together before the whole thing falls apart. But I really like this one. I think it's really pretty. It's very bright. It smells like a pumpkin orange. It's more of like mustard yellow. But it's really pretty. So I was gonna do that. And then a few other things that were I really was really looking forward to one of these little counting rows, like a finger thing. I don't know how many of you had these, probably, I'm sure. And I thought that might be a good idea, so I don't have to keep writing them down to count the rows. This was 10 bucks. I gotta say, I think Amazon might have this for like $6. But anyway, it's called instant gratification, right? And then I wanted some of these little row count, like row, what do you call them? Stitch dividers, like to keep track of where you're at, basically. I have a few of these, but they're kind of thick. And I don't like that because they leave bigger holes, like they stretch out in between, you know what I mean? They seem really thin, and I thought I would pick up a couple of these. A bag of these, see if I like them. That's all, I guess, for now, that I was planning on doing and still will be working on, hopefully. I'm really excited to start on my cardigan. If you guys have any tips, let me know if there's anything I should know about this pattern. Have any of you worked on this pattern before? It's free online. If there's some things that I need to change ahead of time, I would love to know. It seemed like it has all the instructions. It has like the chart and the measuring details and like all that kind of stuff. So that's good. Anyway, yeah, that's all. That is all for me, and thank you for sticking around if you have so far. I appreciate it. If you could subscribe and please press like. And let's see, if you did hear a slight accent in my chat anyways, I do have an accent. I would be curious to know whether or not some of you might know what accent it is. Comment down below and we'll find out next time. Alright, thank you guys. Have a blessed day. Bye!